So I like to do some agree, disagree questions. So I'm actually probably going to whip those up. On the run. I probably should mute us back here because people can probably hear us talking if they tuned in. But we'll do that. And then after that, we'll go into crunch time, which is the final 5 minutes, 3 in the key, 3 things all professionals need. 2 shots, 2 of the foulest things or toughest challenges you've experienced in your current role. And then, and 1, that's one thing, anything that you would like to share before we exit.
All right.
All in all, man, somewhere between 35 and 45 minutes.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to take us off. And then the next thing we hear will be the intro music. And then we'll rock and roll from there, brother.
All right, man.
All right. What do you got, Coach? 3 things that all coaches need. Who would you put on your Mount Rushmore of coaches?
New York or the Aces? Definitely going with the Aces.
All right, 4th down. Who has the tougher job, coaches or officials? If you could have any superpower, what would it be and why? For Texas, it's different. This is the Coaches Co-op, where coaches connect, grow, and share the grind. I'm your host, Michael Prejean, better known as Coach P. Each week, I'm teaming up with coaches across the country to break down the wins, the lessons, and everything in between. This week, I'm teaming up with EJ Hairston. Let me tell you a little something about this brother. He's been an athletic trainer for the past 25 years. He's originally from the great state of North Carolina. He's got his master's from North Carolina Central in Durham. He has worked with just about every sport except field hockey and ice hockey. He's worked at NC State University, Western Carolina, Stetson University in Florida, the University of North Texas, and Waxahachie ISD. He now serves as the athletic coordinator for Mansfield ISD, overseeing middle school athletics. I need y'all to go ahead and put your real hands or your virtual hands together for Mr. EJ Hairston. Brother, how you doing today?
Everything good?
Everything's good. So listen, I have a question.
Okay.
So I walked into our training room one day and I was addressing our new trainer. I don't like to call them by their first names, because the kids can sometimes be a little wacky. So I said, "Hey, coach," went clean off on me. I was like, "Oh, sorry, my bad." So what is the proper way to address an athletic trainer whenever we come into the training room?
For me, I think you can call me by my first name because I feel like I demand respect in that room by kids, by coaches, by whoever's in there. When I was at Waxahachie, I walked in the door and they called me coach, and I addressed them and said, I don't want to be disrespectful, but I'm not a coach. Okay. I've never coached anything. I don't want to take that. I don't want to take that role on. I don't want to take that title. But my name is my title, right? Athletic training is my profession, but my name is my title. So I let the kids call me EJ. And there was never any disrespect. I just let it happen. I mean, I don't tolerate disrespect. So the kids knew that. We knew that from day one. So
very, very excellent and great perspective, man. That, you know what, that question has been on my mind since we scheduled, and that is, man, that's a great answer. I couldn't imagine getting a better answer. All right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go ahead and roll right up into this thing. We're gonna go into talk that talk. Okay, so this is where you get the opportunity to talk about all of the great things going on in your district, in your athletic programs, in the community, etc. I know you've been in Mansfield ISD about 6 or so months, but EJ Hairston, I need you to talk that talk about all of the great things going on in Mansfield ISD. The floor is yours.
Well, I walked in the door, got hit in the face by all the things. We are a growing district, obviously. We have our executive AD, our athletic director, our assistant AD, and I'm next in line as the athletic department coordinator. I oversee all middle school athletics. We have 7 middle schools, 7 coaches on the boys' side, 6 on the girls' side at each school. So I got my hands full. Trying to get around to all the games, support all the kids. Right now, we got summer strength conditioning going on, 2 sessions a day at our 5 high schools. We've got middle school kids at the early session with the high school kids. We've got a 6th, 7th grade session that's a little bit later in the morning. But our kids are lifting. They're learning how to lift. They're encouraging each other. Our coaches are encouraging our kids. I'm just loving it. I met our superintendent when I got the position, and she was welcoming with open arms. Got to spend time with our Summit High School 5A basketball team to win a state championship. Man, I just being able to be on the floor with those guys and with our team, I'd never been in that atmosphere before. And me coming from North Carolina, we played basketball, but it wasn't like this.
Texas
We
is
didn't do
different,
sports
man.
like this. Yeah, we didn't do sports like this. And just being able to just still pour into kids, and now my new role being able to pour into coaches, is been my push for the last 5 years. Like I love helping kids, I really do, but now I feel like my career has slid more towards pouring into coaches and helping coaches help kids. So
Good
this
stuff.
role is real big for me.
Obviously, you have an athletic background. Played D3 basketball, so obviously you were a hooper. So what were the early experiences? What drew you into, right? So you're not a coach, right? So a lot of us with athletic backgrounds, many of us with athletic backgrounds, we sometimes end up in coaching, but you've been on the athletic training side for 25 years. So what were the experiences that shaped your journey and drew you into athletic training?
I broke my foot in high school, and I missed, I don't know, 4 weeks of my season. And I didn't have an athletic trainer in my high school. I went to a 1A high school. We didn't have athletic trainers. I didn't even know what it was. My coaches taped us, right? So when I got injured, I went to a PT clinic, and the first day this PT came over, he hooked me up to this machine. And he just kind of left me there. And he didn't tell me what was going on. He just left me there. Came back when it beeped and wrapped my ankle up and said, "I'll see you on Wednesday." And I was like, "I ain't going back to that dude. I can do that I can do my own stuff at home better than this." But my mom said, "No, you're going back." So we went back that Wednesday. I had a different dude, an athletic trainer, came over. He hooked me up to the machine. He told me what the machine was going to do. He told me how long I was going to be on it. He even asked me if I was comfortable or not. And I was like, "What? Comfortable? Really?" So he explained everything. He gave me exercises to go home with. He told me what they were going to do for me. He showed me how to do them before I left. And he told me to call him by his first name, which is why today, have kids call me by my first name. Right. So he molded me. Right. And then, when I got better, he came to my first game back, and he came to my career day at my high school. And he was the guy that I called when I went to college my first year and had back spasms. I called him. I had a trainer at my college, but I just felt real comfortable with him. And that's the guy that molded it for me.
Man, was it the question? Are you comfortable? Was it him coming to the game? Or was it a combination of both that was like, okay, I see you and I think I might want to do that?
You know, it was his enthusiasm every day that I came in there. And it was the challenge that he put in front of me when I came in there. Because he could have just came in and said, okay, do these 5 exercises and then I'll see you next time. But he worked with me for those exercises and then made the statement, I'm going to give you these to go home with, and I'll know if you get better or not. He said, if you don't do them at home, you're not going to get much better.
There it is.
So he gave me the facts. And he didn't candy code it for me. He wasn't rude about it. He was just saying, he just made statements. And, you know, I just appreciated his enthusiasm. I appreciated his facts. And I mean, he was just as excited when I came back as I was. So I just appreciated that part of it, that he wanted to be a part of my journey to get back to what I was doing before I was injured. So that's what I always try to tell kids. Like, I want to be the dude that puts you back to your pre-injury status, if not better. So
ball player.
Mm-hmm.
What was your major in undergrad?
Sport and exercise studies, concentration in athletic training.
Okay. So you knew what you wanted to do.
Oh yeah. So I based my college choice on where I could be an athletic trainer. I had the options to go play D2 basketball, but they told me I couldn't be an athletic trainer and play basketball. So I didn't want to go. So I went to Greensboro College because they would let me do both. So I would go to practice at 3:30 to 6, and then I would cover our women's basketball practice from 6 to 8. My teammates would bring me dinner so I could be an athletic trainer after my practice.
Man, that's a gem. You know, that's a gem. You can do both. Mm-hmm. In this age of specialization, I think that's a perfect example of you can do both. You just need to make sure you have a support system, and your decision making has to be on point. I love the intentionality of your decision making. So you go to college to be an athletic trainer, you come out of college and you're working on the collegiate level. So talk about the transition from collegiate athletics to high school athletics. What has that been like? And then now you're overseeing middle schools. So you've really been able to see 3 different variations of the athletic experience. Talk about that.
So college athletics is its own entity. I mean, it's a 7-day grind. It really is. Summer, winter, fall, it doesn't matter. We'll go my recent experience at UNT, University of North Texas. It was 7 days a week. And, you know, when I first got there, we were in the Sun Belt Conference, and we would travel on Wednesday, and we would have travel partners. We'd play Thursday, travel Friday, and play Saturday, and then come home Sunday morning. But when I came home Sunday,
volleyball.
This is basketball, men's basketball.
Okay.
So we would come home Sunday morning, and then I would have to have treatment Sunday morning when we got back. So I'm still not getting home till like noon or 1 on Sunday. And Monday is just the next day, and we lift at 7 a.m. So we're back at 6:30, 6:15, and that's how it was. You know, we relished the fact to play a home game, but we rarely played a home game on a Saturday. So it was, you know, it was always a long Sunday just to get ready for Monday. And then in the summer, you know, I'm in the office 12 hours a day on a Sunday. I'm waiting on kids to get out of class so we can have workouts in the afternoon. So it's still a super long day. And to go from that to go to high school. And here's the crazy thing. I went to a high school and got paid more to work at a high school
Yeah.
and work less hours
Yeah.
at a high school. So there were no Sundays. Saturdays was 2 hours. I mean, I was like, is this really what I'm doing? Is this a real job? And my wife's looking at me because she works in college athletics, and she was like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm home on Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been here all day. Like, I'm looking around like, what do I need to do today?
Was it an easy decision to move from collegiate athletics to high school athletics?
It was an easy decision because it was a decision that needed to happen for me. I'd gotten to the point where I'd gotten as high as I could go where I was. My goal was to always be a director of sports medicine. That was my dream. And when that dream didn't happen at UNT, God put it in place for me to do it at Waxahachie.
Yeah.
And I went into Waxahachie. I had 2 assistants, and I didn't run in the room and bang my fist on the desk and said, we're going to do all these things right now. It was, hey, let me see what y'all doing. Let me see how we can make this work and make us better. But it was 6 months to watch and observe. And I observed everything. I observed our athletic director. I observed our coaches. I observed our kids. I observed my staff. And I had to base my next move on all those moving parts. You can't make a decision on one thing.
You in here teaching. You're teaching. Like you're teaching best practices.
Yeah.
Right. So for people who may watch or listen to this later, I need y'all to understand. Go ahead and rewind because you weren't paying attention. You were in the kitchen cooking, or you were talking, you were avoiding road rage and traffic. But I need you to go ahead and scrub back and listen to what the brother just said. He spent his first 6 months just watching, observing, absorbing. Keep going.
Asking questions. Why do we do it this way? Well, it's always been done that way. Okay, well, give me the history of that. Like, tell me why. Because I need to know if it's something that is built on tradition. And if it is built on tradition, it doesn't mean we got to remove it, but can we modify it? Can we advance it? Can we upgrade it? If it's just something that you've always done because you want to do it, then we need to discuss why we're doing it, right? The positives and the negatives of it. So, I mean, I just had to, there were some things that were going on that needed to be changed. And I just didn't feel like kids were being taken care of in the best way possible. So I sat with my staff. We talked about it.
And then
we made a lot of changes. But I also had to make a lot of changes in myself, right? So going from college athletics to where I'm dealing with grown men, right? That think they know everything already. You got to give them a certain level of conversation where they can feel it, right? But at the high school level, we're so impressionable with kids that you got to talk to them different. Some you still got to make them feel it, but for the most part, you just need to sit down and have a conversation. And I'm not a yeller, I'm not a screamer, but I can get my point across if you just let me sit down and just talk with me for a minute. I mean, we can walk off to the side and I'll put my arm around you, but we're gonna have a real conversation, but it's not gonna be threatening, it's not gonna be demeaning, it's just gonna be, hey man, this is what's gonna happen if you don't pay attention to what you're doing. Like every choice has a consequence.
That's good. That's good.
Good or bad, right? So you gotta help them see the bigger picture.
That's good stuff. Let me do this real quick. We are in the coaches co-op with EJ Hairston. His brother said you can call him by his first name because when he steps in the room, he commands respect. So we'll get back to the convo here in a second. But here at the coaches co-op, I need you to remember we're all about building championship level systems on and off the court. If you were just listening, he talked about the championship level system that he built at Waxahachie. Hopefully I said that right. So we're going to listen, we're going to observe, we're going to absorb. You said something that was a gem. I don't want people to miss this. Are we doing this because it's tradition? And you don't necessarily have to get rid of tradition, but tradition can be modified. All right. This episode is brought to you by the sponsor that we don't have yet, but I'm going to do a shameless plug here, EJ. All right. I'm going to drop this down on the screen for you right here. Here's what I need y'all to do. I need y'all to go to Amazon.com. I need you to buy this book right here. It's called The Path for Coaches, Volume 1, Mentoring, right? It's an anthology. You got about 20 or so authors. This book is filled with gems. It's scrolling at the bottom of your screen. But for those of you who are not watching, if you're just listening, The Path for Coaches, Volume 1, Mentoring. So you need to grab it. You need to snatch it today. Yours truly has written a chapter in that book. And I think my chapter is good, but I will tell you this for sure. It is nowhere near the best chapter in that book. So listen, if you're looking to level up your team culture, fine tune your playbook, make sure you check us out here at the Coaches Co-op. Go ahead and get that book. All right. Let's get back to it. We're back in the game with EJ Hairston. 25 years of athletic training experience. He's worked at the collegiate level. He's worked at the high school level. He is now the athletic department coordinator for Mansfield ISD, overseeing middle school athletics. He has had the opportunity to pour into grown athletes. He has had the opportunity to pour into young athletes. Now he is using his gifts and talents to pour into adults. So do me a favor, EJ. Describe a typical day or week in your current position. You talked about the grind that was collegiate athletics, but what does it look like having the opportunity to now pour into your coaches and pour into the other adults that you work with?
In my 7 months now in my role, well, let me just say this. All the stuff that I've done up to this point has built me for this point. Right. So the grind of college athletics has built me to be able to work and not worry about looking at the clock, not worry about, what time of day it is. Like, I'm just like, I have things I have to do, so I have to work. Right. So that's what college athletics gave me. One of the things it gave me. Now my current role, I'm in at, 6:45. Going to one of the middle schools. I'm trying to catch a basketball practice, boys or girls. See how my coach is doing. But I always make sure that when I walk in the room, I address my coaches, right? So I'm not coming to say I got you or to catch you doing something wrong. I'm coming to watch you do your thing and teach and develop these young people to where they can go to the next level and play high school sports. I want to come and watch you do your thing, right? And I always tell them, like, I'm not a coach. I'm not coming here to criticize you on what you're doing. I'm coming here to support you and help you get to where you want to go. If you want to go to the next coaching, then I can help you do that. Why? Because I know how to work with people. No,
Do your coaches
I believe in
understand
people.
that? Are there any potential hurdles there that, hey, it's not a gotcha moment. This is not here. I'm not here to critique. I'm here to support. Do coaches initially understand that?
No. You say that to them to get them to think about it. But it's just like anything else, man. You got to show people. You can walk on your court and tell your team, I'm going to do this for you. But until you do it, are they really believing that you're going to do it? But now your team will run through a wall for you, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Right. Because you've gained that respect and you've earned their trust. So I realized walking in the door, I've only been here 7 months. Like, I haven't seen every season yet. So I know there are some coaches that probably don't believe that I'm here for them, that I'm here to support them. But you'll see.
Does all of that, and this is a question for any coaches that may tune in later, is all of that responsibility on you? Is there anything that coaches can do that you would recommend to meet you halfway in that process? Hey, coach, engage me. Hey, coach, do these things. Well, I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing that out there, just for coaches who may need to know.
I just think for me to help you, you've got to help me. You've got to tell me what you need. You've got to tell me the support you need. You've got to tell me what you feel you don't have. But also, I'm going to be the guy that's going to help you understand people a little bit better. That's my strong suit, I believe. So how you talk to your team is how you coach your team. And I'm not here to critique that, but how do you talk to your coaches? Like, let me help you do that. Because you're the head coach or you're the assistant coach. You're not the only coach. Your coaching staff is a team also. So I have to build my coordinators at the middle school to be leaders so they can build leaders on their coaching staff. So you have to give them the grace and the trust to know that I trust you to lead, but you got to also trust me to help you lead.
That's good. That's good. So years ago, when I first got into coaching, it was our night. He was the night lead for custodians in our building. His name was Mark Relf. Mark drove an orange Impala, sitting on them things.
Okay.
Mark had the grill.
Mm-hmm.
But this is what Mark would tell me all the time. He said, Coach, you got to let them know what you need. Squeaky wheel, get the oil. And I've never forgot that. That's over 20 years ago. So coaches, let your support people know what you need. So when your coordinators, when your athletic directors, assistant athletic directors are asking you, hey, how can I help you? Closed mouths don't get fed. So make sure that you let them know what you need. Okay.
Yes.
What's the most rewarding part of your role? I think I know what you're going to say because you've kind of been touching on it a little bit, but what's the most rewarding part of the role that you're in?
Just being able to just grow other people. I consider myself a lifelong learner, and I'm a huge fan of John Gordon, his positivity books, John Maxwell and his leadership books, and I just feel like if I can just pour some of that stuff into other people, it just makes for better people.
What's your favorite John Maxwell book?
It's probably the one I'm reading right now, Failing Forward.
Okay. I'm a Maxwell fan as well. Definitely like John Maxwell. Let's look into.
Let me tell you why real quick. So in my new role, it's a bunch of stuff that I've never done.
Okay.
Right? I've never evaluated coaches. I've never had to address coaches that weren't doing what they needed to be doing. I've never really praised coaches for what they do. Right? These are all new things for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to learn how to do those things, but do them in a way where it's received the right way. And let me just tell you, they have not all been received the right way. I've had to make some adjustments, right? So I've said some things that didn't need to be said. So I've had to go back and face that person. I look them in the face and be like, hey man, I'm sorry. That's not what I meant. Like, I didn't mean it to come off that way.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the other part of it, Yeah, like you got to be an adult and talk to other adults and not send an email. Like, that's not an email conversation. That's not a text message. Like, I got to drive to that campus, talk to that coach and apologize and let them know, like, I'm going to be better. I'm going to be better for you. I'm going to be better for your campus. I'm going to be better for our athletic department as a whole.
Listen, Mansfield ISD, you got a good one. Mansfield ISD. Those of you, listen, you are probably, I know one of your coaches up there as well. Coach Dickerson.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, Coach Dickerson, I've been after you for about 3 years to get on the podcast. Okay. That's all I'm going to say. And every time I see you, Coach Dickerson, you say, I'm ready. I'm coming on the podcast. So I'm putting this on the internets. All right. I'm putting this out here on the socials. Everybody knows now, Coach Dickerson, that I've been after you. So listen, Mansfield ISD, you got a good one. You got a good one.
Appreciate you. Appreciate
Listen, somebody who is watching us over here on Instagram, man, on point 2827. He's the best in the business. And just listening to you, all right, on point 2827, they said they have watched this firsthand. And listening to you, the fact that you said this is not an email, okay? Somebody just y'all just take notes. Follow the lead. It's not an email conversation. This brother said, I'm going to get in my car. I'm going to drive over there. So I love the vulnerability. I think that is a great characteristic of someone in leadership, right? And we all lead on different levels. But I love the fact that, okay, I have all of these people under me, yet I'm still okay showing that vulnerability when I make mistakes. I'm going to show my coaches grace in hopes that as they grow the coaches under them, they will also show those under them grace. I almost made a mistake and call you coach. My bad. My bad. It almost slipped. It almost slipped. All right.
Hey, man, listen, I've been getting it since I've been in Mansfield. So, I mean, it comes with the gig. It comes with the gig.
Our trainer, man, when I tell you I walked out of the training room with my tail tucked. I was like, oh, my bad. My bad. All right, here we go. What's the toughest decision you've had to make as an athletic trainer when you were in athletic training? Toughest decision you had to make?
The toughest decision is just to let a kid play that could potentially play and do well that's injured, or if you sit them out another week, then they're 100%. Like that's really the toughest because I'm the only one in that bubble that's looking at the future, right?
Yeah.
I'm the only one that's looking at the weeks coming up, looking at the schedule, what's coming up. So for me to make that decision is a pretty hard decision because now that decision is being judged by his teammates, by his coaches, by his parents, by our fans. Yeah. So it's just, I don't get all of that from everybody, but it's a tough decision, and I had to be real careful with that decision. Yeah, but also put my foot down when I make it.
Yeah, that's not an envied position to be in. So just sticking with the AT side, man, what are some common misconceptions that people have about athletic trainers or the athletic training staff? What do people get wrong quite often?
So I'll tell you this story. I was in our all-staff meeting at Waxahachie, I think my second or third year, and I got up there and I pulled out $1. I held up the dollar and I said, guys, this is my salary when all of our kids are healthy. And I said, this is also my salary when I have kids that are injured. Like, I do not get a bonus because I have more kids in my training room. Like, I don't want kids in the training room. I want kids on the field. I want them on the court. If I could get paid as an athletic trainer and never see a kid in my training room, I'd be stealing money from the district.
Yeah.
But what I do in the athletic training room that I don't think people really know is, I worked with my staff and we worked on a preventative model of athletic training is what I call it. So we did things on the front end to try to delay injuries on the back end, right? So we did a lot of stretching. We did a lot of foam rolling. We did a lot of just mobility work with the joints.
Yeah.
Pre-practice, post-practice to try to help with recovery. We used the recovery pumps. I didn't use a lot of cold tubs. To me, science says that cold tubs restrict the blood vessels so your blood doesn't flow as easy because now you're restricted. So you're not letting that used blood run back to the heart to get clean, to get back out, to recover the body. You've actually slowed that process down by putting a kid in a cold tub.
So Normatec, something
Great
like
idea.
that.
Yes.
Greater than the cold tub.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm just going to be a little selfish here. So those of you who may be watching or listening, I'm just going to ask some questions for me. Okay, so I am currently a basketball coach. Formerly, I've been a cross country coach as well. So I have adapted and adopted, or vice versa, foam rolling. I brought that with me into my basketball program. So if I'm in my athletic period, because I am currently writing out my plan for the year, so I got about 38 minutes to be on the floor during my athletic period. How long should my warm-up be?
I would probably give you a solid 10 minutes, 12 minutes.
Okay.
You might be able to cut it down to 7, depends on like how often you're doing it and how much work your kids are doing outside of what you're doing.
Okay. Okay. I'll just wondering. I got other questions to ask, but I'll ask those questions once we stop recording. Okay. I love the expertise. I love the expertise. Listen, here's what y'all need to understand. The athletic trainers, they don't get paid more for having kids in the training room, right? There's the old saying in the NFL, you can't make the club in the tub.
Yeah.
Right. So
yes.
So trust your ATs, get with your ATs on your campus, and get you that pre-practice plan. Get those things that you can do beforehand to keep your kids out of the athletic training room.
Yes.
All right.
Your coaches will be more than happy to help you with a warm-up. Your athletic trainers will be more than happy to help your coach with a warm-up.
Yeah.
Because it makes their job easier. It doesn't make your job harder. It just makes their job easier.
An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. All right. So looking ahead, what do you see as some of the biggest challenges in athletics as a whole? So you've had many different perspectives in and out of the athletic training room, in and out of collegiate athletics, now in high school athletics, with a peek into middle school athletics. What are some of the biggest challenges ahead for athletics?
I think just, this whole transfer thing has gotten out of control, I think. And I think, kids need to learn that you can stay somewhere and play somewhere, and not every day is going to be great. Not every day your coach is going to be your best friend. Not every game you're going to win. And you're going to go through challenges in life. And, everything that you do in your life has a reason, has a purpose. And just because you have a bad season or a bad experience with that coach doesn't mean you need to leave that school. And I think that's one of the biggest things that we're fighting against right now is it's so easy to just drop it and just go, right? And it's the same thing in college athletics. They just, if they're not happy, they leave. Now, with the money involved in college athletics, it's a whole different ballgame. Like you may be leaving for other reasons,
right?
But in high school, I just feel like you need to, for lack of a better word, just fight through some things, fight through some adversity. I think you can stick it out.
Okay. Kids are kids, and kids will do what kids do.
Mm-hmm.
If you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. So when I look at situations like this, oftentimes I like to look at the parents.
Okay.
And then just wonder, okay, mom, dad, guardian, auntie, uncle, nana, papa, Tio, tia, whoever it is, are you okay with this? And what lessons are we teaching? What lessons are we teaching? Anyway, that's a rabbit hole we're not going to go down. We're not going down that rabbit hole. Okay.
We'll never get out.
About 40 minutes in. So, all right, play a little game with me here. We're going to go a little rapid fire.
All right.
We're going to go a little rapid fire, and then we're going to go from here. We're going to go into crunch time after this. So these are agree, disagree questions. I'm gonna hit you. I got a list of about 10 of them. But I may not hit all 10. So I'm gonna throw it out there. You're gonna tell me agree or disagree. Athletic trainers should always promote evidence-based practices. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
Injury prevention is more important than rehab.
Agree.
Building a rapport with athletes is critical for success.
How do I put agree in all caps for that one?
Agree in all caps. All right. Okay, check this one out. Here's this one. Athletic trainers should be present at all team practices.
Agree.
With the
But
caveat.
at the same time, we can't be everywhere at once. So you've got to discern which ones you need to be at that are more, and I don't want to say more important, but you need to be at the collision contact sports more than you need to be at the non-contact sports.
Yeah, you need to be where there is a greater chance.
Yes. Or it's a greater risk. Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, here's another one. Mental health is a key aspect of athletic training.
Agree.
Okay. All right. This will be the last one here. This one may be a little controversial. A little bit. There is too much focus on return to play timelines. Agree or disagree?
Question.
Go ahead.
Too much focus from who?
Oh, just it's just a general question. So let's put some let's say players first. Too much focus on return to play timelines from the players.
Agree.
Too much focus on return to play timelines, parents.
Agree.
Too much focus on return to play timelines, head coaches. All right. So let's let the kid get well, y'all. Let's let the kid get well.
The athletic trainer is really the only one that doesn't really care what the timeline is. And you have some parents that are like that too. Like some parents are like, whenever he's ready. Right. But you're never not going to get the question from a player or his teammates or his coach on, I saw him at school today. He looked like he was fine. Okay, that's great, coach. That's good. That's good.
All right. So this is not one of my pre-scripted questions, but what's your advice on, getting coaches, those who sit in my role to understand a little bit better? Hey, I'll let you know. I'll keep you updated when the kid is ready. So what's your advice there? Coach, just chill, be patient. How can we build that bridge to give coaches a better understanding?
Okay, so when I was at Waxahachie, we used this program called C3 Logics. It's what we use to, test kids for concussions. So we would do a baseline test, and we started in middle school. We did a baseline test at 7th grade, 9th grade, and 11th grade. That baseline test would tell me what that kid's normal is, right? The follow-up test after an injury shows me what the deficiencies are. There's a balance component to that test. Some people are visual, right? Some coaches are visual. They need to see why they can't go. Some coaches are more just okay with the answer, they can't go. So what I started doing was I started taking that test, showing those numbers to that coach and saying, this is where we're at. This is why he can't go. Other coaches were just okay with it. And I started thinking to myself, well, how can I help coaches understand this? So if your ankle is sprained, you can see the ankle swollen, right? You can see it's bruised. You can see all the problems that are wrong with it. If the brain is bruised or injured, you can't see that. So do you really want to risk putting a kid out there with an injury that you can't see versus one that you can see? If you can't see it, you have no idea what you're doing to it.
Yeah.
So you don't know what more damage you're causing. And you don't know when that damage is going to be detrimental to that kid. So we have to take out the mindset that, well, he looks fine, right? Because a kid can look fine, but if he can't count backwards the way I need to, or he can't achieve the balance that he had pre-injury, then how can I put him out there to do what you need him to do? It doesn't matter what sport it is. It could be tennis. It doesn't matter. But that not knowing makes it harder for me to allow you to argue with me about why a kid can and cannot go.
There it is. So I often wonder, and you can feel free to answer this or not. So I look at when a kid gets a concussion. So just here, being specific about concussions. When a kid gets a concussion in my program, I just kind of set my clock to a month. Hey, it could, at the least, it may be a month before this kid can return to play. That's just kind of how I set my clock. I watch, so I'm gonna use because I coach women's basketball. Asia Wilson. She played last night, coming back. She was in concussion protocol. So she missed 3 games. So she missed about a week. So I often wonder, I look at these professional timelines and I look at what we're doing in high school. So what's the difference in those timelines? Is it the developing brain versus an adult brain? Is it, do they have some type of technology and stuff that we don't know about? What is it? Why are these timelines so different when it comes to, high school kids and the pros, even college kids?
The developmental piece is 100% part of it.
Okay.
Right. We're not fully developed. Those people are just built different also. Like they are elite, athletes. They're elite at what they do. I mean, their bodies are built different. So they're gonna respond differently to different things. I mean, we can go back to Adrian Peterson. He came back from an ACL tear in 6 months. Like that's not what we do. He's just built different, right?
Yeah.
So we got to take all that stuff into account, and we also got to look at the nutrition behind it also, right? Those guys are they're well fed, they're resting,
Yeah.
right? That's their job also, so they know they have to do those things. Yeah. So I mean, in high school,
hot Cheetos helping your concussion.
Kids aren't eating real food. Yeah, they aren't eating real food. I mean, I used to always tell my kids, like, you need to eat off a plate, not out of a bag.
Oh, yep. You're going to see that. You're going to see that again somewhere because that's a gym.
So, nutrition plays a huge part. Hydration plays a huge part, and rest. Those things are huge to come back from concussion. It's hard to get a high school kid to sit down and get off their phone and not watch ESPN that's got the sideline and the bottom line and then the actual picture going on all at the same time, because they're trying to look at all that. Like, that's too much stimulus for the brain at that point.
Listen, we could do a whole episode on concussions, nutrition, social media, the phone, the stimulus, hydration, all of that as it relates to concussion. You are in the Coaches Co-op. We have EJ Hairston. If you've been listening or watching, you know that he is elite in what he does. I'm glad I asked a couple of those questions that I had that were not scripted, because when I tell you that you helped me supremely, and I know you helped somebody for sure. Taylor is watching this on Instagram. She said, great question. Not only, listen, that was a great answer. Kids and adults, eat off a plate, not out of a bag. All right, we're in crunch time, EJ. Let's go. Crunch time. Crunch time consists of 3, 2, and 1. So we go 3 in the key, 3 things that all professionals need. 2 shots, two of the most difficult or foulest thing you've experienced in your role as an athletic trainer, or even in your current role. And then we end with one thing that you would like to share before we exit. So let's go ahead and start with 3 in the key. 3 things that all athletic professionals need. What you got for us?
Patience, a willingness to work.
That's good.
With kids, with other people, with adults. I mean, you got to work with everybody. And leadership. And you don't just lead from the front, you can lead from the back.
What does that look like? Because we've heard that before, but what does it look like to lead from the back?
You know, head coaches get all this praise. They get all the ridicule also, because they're out front. But it's the leaders in the back that, you know, make sure all the stuff that's not being seen gets done. Like, just because you're not out front doesn't mean that you don't have a critical role on that team. You can still be in the locker room monitoring kids. And if kids act right in the locker room, then you've led them to do that in the locker room. If laundry needs to get done, you are in charge of getting that stuff done. Like, you are still a leader in this program. You're not seen doing it. I've been leading from the back for, I don't know, 20 years. No one ever sees what I do. It just gets done. And there's never a question about it. Right? Like, no one's asking me how this kid is, able to bounce back so quick. It's not because I put this kid in a hyperbaric chamber and healed him immediately. It's because I put this plan in place for this kid, and we sat down and we talked about it. We set the goals, short-term and long-term, of what it was going to look like. And he followed through with it. So I led him to that. I was his leader for that portion of what we were doing. So leadership.
That's good.
Lead from the back.
Listening to you say that, there are a lot of people in leadership roles who don't realize that they're in leadership roles. That's good stuff, EJ. That's good stuff. All right. That was the three things that all athletic professionals need to succeed: patience, a willingness to work with people, because this is a people business, and leadership. Now, this brings us to two shots. What are 2 of the toughest challenges or foulest things that you've experienced?
One of my biggest challenges was getting into my current role as an athletic administrator. For the last 5 years, it's what I've felt like God has called me to do. And, I always heard the verbiage, well, you've never been a coach before, so this isn't what you're not going to be able to do that. You're a trainer, and you're good at it, so you should stick with that. So the challenge has been to not listen to the naysayers.
Yeah.
And follow follow what God has told me and do what God told me to do, not what people want me to do.
That's good.
And then on the athletic training side, I would say probably, now this is going to sound weird. I was at a men's lacrosse practice, and I heard a pop on the field. I didn't see anything, but I heard a pop. This kid went down, and he actually dislocated his hip. That was probably one of the toughest injuries I've ever seen.
Yeah, that sounds.
Yeah,
that sounds painful.
Yeah, he just planted to change direction, and yeah, it was yeah,
that's tough. That's tough.
Mhm.
One of the questions I thought about asking you was what was one of the toughest injuries you dealt with, but we hit it there.
There it is.
There it is. This brings us to the last thing. You know what? This may or may not be the last thing because there's something else you mentioned in your questionnaire that I want to ask. You may hit it here.
Okay.
If you don't, if you do, great. If you don't, I'll still ask it. So here's one thing. One thing, anything that you may want to share for our watchers or listeners.
Nobody can tell you who you are or what you can do. And I say that because I've lived it. When I left high school, I was told I couldn't be an athletic trainer and play basketball. I did that. When I graduated from college, I was told I could never be an athletic trainer. I wasn't smart enough. I did that. I was told I would never be the director of sports medicine because I didn't have the leadership. I did that. And I've been told I would never be in athletics administration because I've never coached before. I'm doing that. So people are going to say what they want you to hear. And I'm not telling anybody to don't get advice from other people because that would just be a ridiculous statement. I've been so blessed and so helped by athletic directors at the state conference for athletic directors. Like everybody's been so helpful. You meet great people there. That's how Mike and I met. You know, just great people that pour into each other. Right? Everybody's got to have somebody to recharge them. So, you know, I've been able to be recharged by being there. But don't let anybody tell you what you can't do.
There it is. So, man, that's a great testimony. I'm going to put something on the screen and then we'll actually end here because I thought that this was good. So one of the things I asked about was, you know, work-life balance. And you said not so much work-life balance as much as life rhythm.
Right.
Life rhythm is greater than life balance. Talk about that. And then we're going to get out of here.
Okay. So I got this from Dr. Darius Daniels. He's a pastor for Change Church. I watch him online. I've been watching him since COVID. And the dude is just, he's profound. But we talked about life balance. So your life balance might be, you know, I want to work just as much as I play. Okay, well, that's not a realistic goal for some people.
Yeah.
Right. So for somebody that works 8 to 5, you know, you might have work-life balance. But for me, and I think for most people in athletics, it's got to be your rhythm. Because your in season, your out of season aren't the same. You don't have the same, you're not moving the same. You've got less time with kids, you got more free time when you're in the off season. So now your rhythm is a little bit different. So you got to flow with the rhythm of what your season is. What you got to flow with the rhythm of, you know, what your kids need in the classroom and on the court or on the field. It's just got to be more of a rhythm because you got to move with it. It can't be a balance.
That's good.
It's got to flow. You got to flow with it.
That's good. Listen, thank you for joining us on the Coaches Co-op. Big thanks to today's guest, EJ Hairston. When he walks in the room, he commands respect, so you can call him EJ. EJ, thank you for sharing your journey and your wisdom. Hang back with me just for a sec as I get ready to get us out of here. Listen, if you are walking away with new insight or energy for your team, for your coaching staff, or for your program, then we did our job today. Now I need you to hit that like button, follow, subscribe, the Coaches Co-op. That is, you can find us on Instagram. We're podcast_with_Prejean. If you listen to podcasts, then you can go ahead and find us at the Coaches Co-op. Again, my name is Coach P. For EJ Hairston, remember, here in the Coaches Co-op, we do what most people can't. Until next time, y'all be easy.
Well, hey man, what you're doing is amazing. What you're doing is a blessing to other people. So keep it up.
I appreciate you. Hang back for a second while I get us out of here.
You got you.